Listen, I'm confused as fuck already, so it worked.
Perfect. Okay, so for starters, it's because I'm a dipshit.
No way, dude. I'm
So
actually fucking dying right now.
I can get derailed quite easily.
For anyone listening, don't come at me with unsolicited advice.
Oasis, Nirvana, and Tupac, all on the same day.
Almost like an outer body experience when I was listening to this song.
I was around a bunch of people who appeared to have their life together in a really specific way and maybe the normal way. And I've never felt normal pursuing that.
Welcome to Unshut, a place where if at any point you feel like you need to shut the up, don't.
Hey, what's up, Mo?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Amazing. No cat onesie today, huh?
No, 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 no. I only take that out on really special occasions. It's not that you're not special. It's just that'll be my Grammys outfit.
Amazing. I think
Yeah.
I only saw one video with it, so I'm not surprised it's one of those special outfits, you know?
Yeah, it was funny that cat onesie. It was like a way to like not take myself so seriously in making music, and that quickly spiraled into taking myself very seriously in music. But it was nice to kind of break the ice, getting into releasing some music. So
It's the intention that matters, right?
yeah, that's right.
You're in Denver, Colorado, right?
Yeah, yeah.
William, please tell me you were suckered into watching the Love is Blind Denver season.
No, no. I'm sure my wife did, but no, I did not. I do have a buddy that was on The Bachelor. He made it to like one of the final rounds of the Bachelor, and I watched that because I grew up with him, and it was just fun to see him on there. But no, I don't really do. I don't really do any TV.
Not much of a TV person, huh?
No, I love movies, but not TV.
Okay, well, definitely don't go down the rabbit hole. It was one of the worst seasons, but Love is Blind for me is one of those shows that's so stupid. I lose brain cells every time I watch it, but I can't stop binging it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I used to watch Chopped. Do you ever watch Chopped? It's
No,
like
I've
that
never
kitchen.
watched it.
It's that kitchen show, and they'll give them ridiculous ingredients, and they have to like make a meal out of it. But same deal. It's a brain-killing show that I couldn't stop watching at one point. So yeah, but they filmed it in Denver. Is that right?
They did the last season. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I should have had my wife refresh me on that before I came on here. I didn't do any research like you and I discussed, so this could be an intervention for all I know.
No, it's all good. And I always tell everyone too, like it's good to watch if you're into it, but if you're not really much of a podcaster yourself, I always tell guests, don't feel obligated to watch because every episode has a different take to it. I think the essence of Mo is always going to be in my approach to interviews, but what one artist talks about is never going to be what you talk about, especially if I do like a hip hop artist one week and then the next week I have like a ballad girly. It's just not going to be the same. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, I love that.
Something I wanted to ask you real quick in regards to Denver, is that where you were born and raised from?
Yeah, I mean, no, I wasn't born here. I was born in Arizona, but I moved here so young that I've been a native. I've been through all the phases of, evolution in Colorado. I do consider this my home state. So I've been here a long time.
You said you've been there a long time.
Yeah. How's my audio quality? Are we good?
Oh, so good. It was just
Okay.
honestly, I was projecting onto you for no reason because I got distracted looking at my notes. So,
Okay. Thank you for that confession. I appreciate the honesty.
of course. Well, dude, totally random, but did they by any chance ever find the missing host of the Slacker show by any chance?
No, no, he remains at large. Wherever he is, I wish him well, and I hope that I hope that he finds his way out of that kidnapping situation. It must be dire. I'm trying to get my music on the Slacker show for a while. It's 105.9 here in Denver, and I want to show you guys my feeble attempt to do so. I start out the conversation, hear me out. I wash your cars, you play my music on your station. I also send my single, Devil in the Sunlight. About a week goes by, no response. It's possible my first offer was a little light. I'm willing to sweeten the pot with rides to the airport and laundry services. I don't actually know how to do laundry. That was a bluff. 1 week later, I stepped away from my phone, thought you might have called. Anywho, new single drop. That was Nothing Left for You. Was listening to Lionel Richie, as one does. Thought of You, new single Friday. I think my songs are getting better. Alternatively, they might be getting worse. Let me know. Anywhere But Tonight I sent. How About Them Sports Stuff? I got a new single dropping Friday. I don't really watch sports, so really didn't know what to say there. So at this point, I'm predictably concerned about the well-being of Slacker. I want to check in with the people around him. This is his co-host, Radio Aaron. I don't want to alarm you, but Slacker's been unresponsive for weeks. While it's possible he's ignoring me, I think the more likely situation he's been kidnapped. I mean, naturally, that would be what's going on here. I've seen Taken 25 Times Call Me, also new single out on Friday. I did send just a screen share just so she could get up to speed on, for her wellness check. Oh no, have you been taken too? Well, I'm really concerned at this point. We need a signal. Play my songs on the radio. If you're currently a hostage, I'll coordinate a rescue. Today, I said maybe tell the kidnappers that I dropped a new single. While they're distracted with the overwhelming emotion of my music, sweep kick the legs and make a run for it. And then I sent today's release. I am only interested in their well-being at this point because there's zero chance that they haven't responded if they're doing well. So if anyone could check in on them, that would be appreciated. Thanks.
Dude, I have to tell you, so this was the reason why I texted you, okay? Because I was in my tub taking the nicest bath ever. And I'm like, you know what? Let me go do some final touch-ups to my notes just to make sure I'm prepared. I got everything down, right? And I'm sitting in the tub going like, wow, this day couldn't be going any fucking better. And you ever have those days where it's going so good, you're like, not today, Satan, like you are not going to fuck this up for me. This was one of mine, okay? Because I was sitting there going, today's been too good. I'm not getting stood up today because he's making me laugh on some of these videos. I cannot get stood up today. So that's where my text came from.
That's funny, and you did it in such a harmless way, of excited to meet with you. But I was like, he without a doubt is making sure that I remember. That's good.
Well, the calling me out on it made my day even better because I was
Good.
just like, you know what? He's putting me on the spot. That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. There's nothing worse than being stood up, and yeah, that happens a lot in this industry. It really does.
No, totally. I deal with
Yeah.
it all the time, but I did love the humor behind the hustle of an independent artist. Why do you think it's so difficult for artists to put themselves outside of their art and create content? Like it's two completely different hats. Why is that so different? And why is that such a struggle, if not just in general, maybe for you?
For me, I'm really really close to the music that I write, and there's a ton of vulnerability just in the act, for at least for me, of writing something and working on it really hard to get it to a point where it's I feel it's ready for consumption by people who are willing to listen to it. The performative nature of some people just make it look so effortless, and it does look genuine and authentic and like it's what they're born to do. I struggle to access that part of my performance without feedback from like a crowd or something like that, right? So if it's just me in my home studio or at one of the studios here in Denver, it's incredibly hard for me to feel like I'm being authentic, and I'm very uncomfortable not being authentic. It's the way that I've always been, so it feels performative in a very very fake way, and I think that's why I've struggled the most with it. I do have a background in a lot of content creation and videography and stuff like that as well, so trust me, I have every advantage of making stellar content. I've struggled to get past that threshold when it comes to making content around my music. That being said, I mean, at some point, and I had a great producer tell me this, you just need to get over yourself and just do it, because it most certainly is in this day and age bar none, the best way to interact with an audience at scale. And I could talk about that forever, so I won't keep rambling. But yeah, it's been hard for me, is the the theme of that.
Well, it's fascinating to hear you say that because watching your videos and reading some of your captions, it's funny because I was looking at it going, that's his content right there. You are actually fucking hilarious.
Oh, thank
And
you.
I think you have a humor about you that, like you said, it is very authentic, but I can totally relate to how the performative side of content creating can come off kind of fake. So I do admire that. And I do think that in general, artists need to feel seen when it comes to not necessarily being able to wear that hat. Like it's okay to not be able to wear that hat. What would William say to an artist that's listening to this that can relate to that feeling of like it doesn't necessarily come natural to them? What can they do to push their music out there, if that makes any sense?
Two things. Number one, I'll let you know when I find out. You'll be the first to know, whoever you are, artist. The second thing, and I think the spirit of what the producer was trying to tell me, is if your intent is to be successful in what you're doing, and make no mistake, that's my intent, and hopefully it's the intent of every artist. I want to be successful. I think there's different levels of success, and I'm comfortable with many of them. But if the intent is success, why would you take the sharpest tool out of your box to content or to contact a wide array of people regarding your music? You can kind of maybe see that I haven't totally come to terms with this yet. So that's logically where I sit right now. If I want to be successful, it's not really a choice. If it's not a choice, just commit yourself to doing it, and you be amazed what you're capable of accomplishing. And that's been, throughout my entire life. So yeah, the worst advice to an artist listening is basically just do it. Like, just you got to do it. is the short version.
No, for sure. But I feel like your answer has some beauty in it too, because I think you're explaining it so well when it comes to someone listening going, oh, everyone does have their own timing to getting there. It's not necessarily a just go out and do it right now. Like you said, if you want to tap into the authenticity of content creating in order to put your music out there, it also has to come from a place because you want to, not because you're being forced to. So it's the irony in your answer. There's beauty in it, if that makes sense.
You know what? The way that you just said that made more sense to me than the way that I said it. So I love that. And I'm making your read on that my read now. So I love that. But if it were just making silly videos all the time, that's my comfort zone, man. I can do that all the time. So yeah, I think I agree with you. Find your lane, figure out what feels authentic, and replicate.
No, for sure. I had read somewhere or I had seen you post something about picking up a guitar and piano before knowing what the chords were. Take me back to those days. What would you say was your music awakening?
Well, for starters, my dad, I was very young when I was, 6 or 7 years old. I'm going to age myself here. I got a cassette of Oasis, Nirvana, and Tupac all on the same day. He just came home with three cassettes. That is, for those who know those three artists, that is a pretty diverse collection of, sounds coming at you out of your boombox. So I fell in love with music very, very early and a wide array of it. Musical awakening, I don't know. That's a much harder one. I would say for me that there wasn't a tipping point. It was incredibly gradual. And if you talk to me even 5 years ago, the willingness to belt into a mic was like non-existent. So it's been an incredibly gradual and terrifying and also amazing process.
Would you say that you kind of owe that diversity of music that's impacted in you as an artist to your dad? I mean, you said it so perfectly with the cassettes that you're talking about, right? You said Oasis, Nirvana, Tupac, if I'm not mistaken.
Hmm.
Like you said, that's so diverse. And today, in the music that you're making, in my opinion, there's folk, there's pop, there's a little bit of hip hop, there's some rock and roll in there as well. And I think that that's hilarious because I wouldn't have known that. And I have that in my notes to literally follow up that question with how is your playlist so diverse? So would you say that that's because of your dad?
Yeah, yeah. It at least was that introduction to music. That's a pretty aggressive introduction to a couple catalogs of music. But yeah, I love everything. Like I really like that hip hop, the cadence of hip hop. I love the instruments associated with folk and like you're saying, like some of the poppy stuff. I love electronic instruments and I love, kind of where vocals typically sit in a really, really nice pop mix. So yeah, I mean, musical confusion is where I live. And what I go down, I go down to the studio and whatever I write, whatever comes out is what I write. That's I'm merely, a passenger in what comes into the genre or anything else. I'm a passenger.
No, that's the best. And I feel
Yeah.
like it definitely shows because I'm the same way. And it's one of the reasons we didn't get to talk about this the last time you and I chatted, but I did think that this was one of my favorite parts about you as an artist is that for me, my musical taste is all over the fucking place. Like I will literally go from listening to the most hood rat shit in the world to crying to Celine Dion to get hyped to go to the gym. Like it has just been my entire life. So
I
hearing
love
that
that.
in your musical catalog is so refreshing.
Yeah, no, I love that. Mine's the same way, and I'm one of those lunatics that shuffles my entire library when I'm listening to music. So there are some wild transitions. Gangster rap to Celine Dion is one that is one that has happened to me on my playlist. So
Hell yeah.
yeah, it's a wild transition.
I love it. Are
Yeah.
you the only one in your family to pursue music?
Yeah. At any capacity. There's a couple dabbling musicians, guitarists and things like that in my family, but I'm the only one to I guess release music as an artist. Yeah.
How do you deal with that isolation of being the only one in your family that's pursuing something so creatively like this that no one in your family could relate to the process, if that makes sense?
God, that's such a good question. Yeah, that's a phenomenal question. It's hard until you put yourself out there that way, right? And I don't know if people understand that, but it really is a vulnerable position to be to write something that you feel, try to make it poetic enough, try to add a melody to it, obsess over does this snare sound good? Does this snare sound good? And go through that whole process and then release it. It's incredibly vulnerable. So asking someone who hasn't done something like that to relate is incredibly difficult. I will say I have an incredibly supportive base in my family. I have learned that, for musical feedback, they're not the ones. They're never going to shit on my music. And I've had producers shit on it. And to be honest with you, like sometimes you need that. Like you need that, you need that feedback to do better. So that's a phenomenal question, but I really think I just use them as a support system for when I am feeling a bit on the self-aware, self-conscious side. You know what I mean?
That's always my favorite part whenever I talk to artists in general, because I think it's learning the difference and who to hear the actual feedback from, right? Like if I'm going to ask my partner for feedback on something, I know that sometimes it's going to come with a little bit more gentleness, more love, more care versus getting it from a fucking stranger or someone that you're not necessarily connected to. It's
Yeah.
so much more valuable because it's raw, it's just right there, you know?
Yeah, I found it best to get it from people that you're paying, like your producer, because they want it to be as good as it possibly can be. So, but yeah, it's an interesting dynamic. I think there's very few things in life that are as vulnerable as art in general. So, and trying to pursue art, that's hard to relate to for people that haven't done it.
100%. And before we talk a little bit more about writing and that vulnerability, because that is something I want to tap into with you on this episode, why William, no last name, just William? Was there a method or a strategy in that? I was just curious about this.
Well, okay, so for starters, it's because I'm a dipshit. So we can start there. Okay, because when you Google William, there's like 87 billion hits. So from an SEO perspective, couldn't have picked a worse name. Like I guess I could have done just the name John and it would have been slightly worse, but it's my name. I like my name. The dream was that William was synonymous with an artist, like that one word William was synonymous. So I had grand ambitions when I picked that name. What's funny, just a quick note, I set up with my distributor the name, the artist name William. I got a notice a couple days later that I had to confirm that I was Will I Am. So like there was some encroachment on his IP and his name. So yeah, that should have been like indicator number one. Maybe work on a different name. To be honest with you, I'm contemplating a name change. I haven't discussed that anywhere yet, but I'm contemplating a name change to at least it'll be William something, to at least add some semblance of searchability on Spotify. And yeah, because anyone listening to this, good luck finding me. Like best of luck. I really hope you link to it, because if not, it'll be unfound.
Okay, it's actually hilarious that you say that because please tell me you're aware of the intertwining of names with a William Luna on YouTube.
No, I'm not aware of that one.
No way, dude. I'm
No.
actually fucking dying right now. So on YouTube, there is a William Luna. Okay. He's a Spanish artist. And I was laughing about this because I was like, let me go see if he has a music video for Get It Together. So I went onto YouTube, typed in Get It Together William. First video that pops up, I click on it, start listening to it, and I'm like, oh, there's a couple comments. I go and click on the comments, and all I see was someone that was like, when did he start singing in English? But they wrote it in Spanish. And I'm bilingual, I speak Spanish. So I started fucking dying because I'm like, wait a minute, is this not the same William? So there's a little bit of crossing on a YouTube channel on William Luna, who's a Spanish artist, and your song is on there.
That's actually great news. I'll contact him immediately after this. We'll need to share audiences. Hopefully, I can remedy this situation at some point this year with a new name. So I'll keep you posted.
Well, I'm definitely excited to see what you come up with. Hopefully, it's nothing too crazy like, William, or, well, actually, that actually has a good ring to it.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna jot that one down. Actually, I like that. Yeah.
Dude, while we're on the topic, Get It Together was my first impression of you as an artist. And like I told you the other day, it completely fucked me up. Tell me about this song.
I was around a bunch of people who appeared to have their life together in a really specific way, and maybe the normal way. And I've never felt normal pursuing that. It's me, got it together, still holds inside my head. I don't want to live forever, but I don't want to go. Don't tell me it's heaven when I can smell the weather. I know we can do better, and I just got to know. Get It Together for me was kind of a plea to restructure my life in a way that made sense to me.
Dude, in that song, there is a line in the chorus that says, I don't want to live forever, but I don't want to go home. My interpretation of that is a little bit dark, so I'm curious to ask you about that line specifically.
Okay, so and this is maybe a byproduct of me not uploading the lyrics, but the home is not the word home.
Oh, it's not.
No, it's the word don't, which is the first word from the next line.
Gotcha.
Which is
Interesting.
yeah, which is don't tell me it's heaven. when I can smell the weather. That's the next line. So yeah, that's not your fault. That's a byproduct of not uploading lyrics to any of the platforms. So
But now I'm curious, what is your interpretation of that line? Because I'm actually fascinated anyway, because I don't know if my interpretation is going to be so far off. And first of all, as an artist, do you like to hear when people interpret your music in a certain way?
oh, I love it. I love it. And honestly, I sometimes intentionally write in obscurity just a bit because some of the songs that have meant so much to me left room for me to apply my own shit to it, right? Sometimes specificity is very, very good. And sometimes it's really not. So I adore it to hear that it hits your ear this way and made you feel this thing. I love that. That's a huge part of making music that I like. Tell me yours first.
It's about to be extremely telling on how much of a dark personality I can have. But the way I took it was straddling the fence of not necessarily wanting to be alive, but not wanting to go and meet your maker as well. Whenever I was reading, I don't want to live forever, to me, I took that as death, but I don't want to go home is also straddling the fence of like, but I don't want to die either. I'm probably so fucking off now, but this is how I took it.
I love that. And I think that fits the song perfectly to apply that meaning to those two lines. I don't know how other artists handle this, but that song I ended up writing in maybe half an hour, had the chord structure and all of it. I'm a super empathetic writer, and what I'm trying to tell you is I don't know what I meant at the time that I wrote it. I felt it deeply, and I don't know exactly what it meant. What it means to me today is probably not too dissimilar from what you described. Like, this kind of sucks, but I've got more to do.
Which I feel like the beauty of that for me, William, is also hearing you say that, but also how the instrumental of this song is so powerful. The rhythmic part of the song alone is what makes you transcend. And that's kind of how I felt. And I think we kind of talked about this the last time we talked, whenever I was telling you how I just felt like I was transcending, like I was elevated, almost like an outer body experience when I was listening to this song. But I feel like if you were to strip the lyrics, that same feeling of just getting it together, that uplifting feeling would have been the same feeling that I would have been feeling when I'm listening to the lyrics. And I am literally, my face is turning so red right now because I am like, I don't want to sound so stupid when I'm fangirling over someone's song, but I do think that you said it so perfectly. What it meant to you then is probably not what's going to mean to you today, but that's the beauty of music. And I think it's funny that I misheard the lyrics. It meant something completely different, but that's what that song means to me, you know?
I love it, and I would keep singing it the way that you heard it, man. And that's why I love. I mean, that song is never going to be the same thing to me that it is to you or to any other person. And I just love that about music.
Well, listen, if you ever play it live and I'm there at the show, I'm gonna fuck up the lyrics on purpose, okay?
I'm a sing it your way, so you won't have to fuck up the lyrics.
Amazing. In Boston, there's a line I want to ask you about. You say, I tried to fix me for you. Do you think this lesson has carried over in other aspects of your life?
It probably should have, but no.
Why do you think that is?
I'm a pretty stubborn individual, and I also have a really short attention span. So I'm still working on that one. That's yeah, that whole song is pretty raw from a lyrical perspective, and yeah, I lost my train of thought there. So
Totally cool. The best part about going into lyric dives with artists on episodes for me is that I think that it speaks a lot of volumes when you write from a place of what you're feeling in that moment, because I feel like that is the purpose of writing music. It's about putting those feelings out there because it's how you're processing them and getting rid of them in a way, if that makes any sense.
100%. You're 100% correct. That is a great way of processing feelings if you're capable of doing so. Yeah.
So listen, if we're both speechless talking about lyrics here, that's the reason why, because we've already processed them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I wrote, yeah, no, 100%. I wrote that one a long time ago too. So that's an older one from my lyrical bank. 4 a.m. and I never seem to find sleep. I tried to fix me for you, but the side you hate always came through. You gave me 10,000 tries. How could I believe it was the last time? You should know. The side of the bed makes my head hurt. You should know. The lucky guy is gonna find her.
In regards to your lyrical bank, fatherhood, how has this impacted your writing?
Uh, well, I mean, it's impacted every aspect of my life, but I do feel I've always been very emotionally aware. Like that's not been a struggle for me. And I've always been able to, I guess, vocalize what's going on in my head without much trouble. I would say that it opened up avenues of fear that I didn't know existed before I had a child. So, ultimately, like wash everything else away. Nothing else matters to me other than my family. So I would say that it brought a healthy dose of fear into my writing.
Is there a song in your catalog, William, that you can say that has maybe changed a meaning in regards to you writing it, putting it out before you were a father, that now that you're a father, it can be interpreted slightly different? Does that make any sense?
Yeah, that does make sense. No, I would say that I largely interpret those in the same way. I mean, through the lens of where I'm at today. But the way that I'm writing now, and I have several unreleased demos that I'll be working on in the next couple months, and I feel like some of those are a significant leap forward in the vulnerability and transparency of what's going on in my head. And I do absolutely attribute that to an emotional connection with that little terrorist. So.
Listen, you said it perfectly. It's that fear. You're going to be putting those fears down into paper. And I think that there's nothing more vulnerable than that because I think that's the eye opener in this stage of life, right? Is that you discover an entirely different meaning to love, a different new meaning to heartbreak, disappointments, frustrations, all of these emotions. They're going to be so different now as a parent. So I'm excited to see
Yeah.
what you're going to be putting out post, you know?
Yeah, I am too. We'll see. We'll see. I think I've got a couple strong ones.
Amazing. Well, just to take the focus off of those a little bit real quick, allegedly in 2022, you caught the fever, and that is beaver fever, by the way.
I got my peaches out in Georgia, yeah, shit. Get my weed from California, it's that shit. Took my chick up to the north, yeah, badass bitch. I get my light right from the source, yeah, it's it. And when I see you, it's the way I breathe you in. It's the texture of your skin. I wanna wrap my arms around you, girl, and never let you go. And when I see you, there's nothing like your touch. It's the way you lift me up. No, to the end. I got my peaches out in Georgia, that's it. And we from California, that shit. Took my chick up to the north, yeah, badass bitch. Get my light right from the source, yeah, that's it.
In 2026, if you had to pick one of your originals for Justin Bieber to cover, which one would you pick?
Oh man, it's one of my demos because he would crush it. He would do it way more justice than I'm capable of doing. I have a really poppy song that I want to do, and it's called its working title is I Can't Catch My Breath, but it's he would crush it. I don't know if he's in your audience, but I mean he can have it for cheap if he wants it.
Is that one of those songs that you're talking about working on in the next couple of months?
Yeah, that'll be one of the ones. Absolutely.
Super sick. You've also covered Hey Ya by Outkast, which was completely iconic, by the way. Which one of your songs could you see them jumping on a remix?
My baby don't mess around, cause she loves me so, and this I know for sure. Why does she really wonder, but can't stand to see me walk out the door? I can't stand to fight this feeling, cause the thought alone is killing me right now. Well, thank God for a moment I was sticking two together. Don't know how. Hey, hey,
Devil would be cool. Devil in the Sunlight would be a cool one for them to jump on. I think we could, I think we could do a lot to change that, to change the instruments of that song and change the whole vibe. And I think Outkast would dominate.
take it from me, you got to bleed to me, scream to make anything, everything. Sing it to me,
Dude, it would be so fucking sick. And it's always interesting for me to ask random questions like this in episodes because it's very telling, in my opinion, when an artist voices over like how they can see their music through the lens of a different artist, if that makes sense. It's very telling. And I think for me, with those two covers alone, you gave me soft R&B swag with Justin Bieber, but you gave me Outkast, and I think that that also to me spoke volumes to what we talked about earlier today of how diverse your musical impressions are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and yeah, just a quick note to any artists listening. That's a well, actually, I want to ask you: do you think that's a detriment, or do you think that's an asset? Because that level of diversity is incredibly hard to market as an independent musician.
I think it's 100% an asset because when you look at a lot of artists that are putting out what's, let's say, topping the charts, for example, a lot of those songs are songs that can be done in different versions. And I've talked about this on the show. I have a theory that when you're able to put out music that's so genre fluid and it can be done in multiple different versions, if that makes sense, it's the reason why you get a variety of people that fall in love with it and your audience grows even bigger. And in my opinion, that is what creates a really good show when you don't just cater to one genre. I don't want to go to a Olivia Rodrigo concert and only sing ballads like Driver's License. I want to do that, but I also want to feel like a little teeny boppy girl when she's singing about, her heartbreak and when she's
Hmm.
starting to feel flirty. Those different mixes, in my opinion, is what makes a great artist. So in my opinion, it's an asset for sure. And I hopefully I didn't just butcher that answer, but that's just my take.
No, I love that, and that's that's reassuring. That's what I've kind of set forth doing because I love too many genres of music to say that I'm like a pop artist or I'm a rock artist. So it is freeing. It is proven. Maybe you're right that diversity in music equals a diversity in audience, and I thought it would be off-putting at a show if I do Devil in the Sunlight, which has that hip hoppy pop vibe to it, and follow it up directly with Anywhere But Tonight, which is like a straight folk song. So.
And the moon will say me when you're crazy and you've tossed all the lights and the tune that you play me, let it take me anywhere tonight.
Me personally, like if I'm in that audience, I'm happy as ever because I love variety in music. But yeah, I'll let you know how it goes.
You've got my wheels turning a little bit. And something that just came to mind right now, it was the first time I saw Ed Sheeran in concert. And I had only known him for songs like Lego House, I think it's what it's called. I was really obsessed with his ballad music, with his slow songs, right? I went to go see him in concert and I had no idea that this ginger could fucking rap, okay? And he got on that stage and started rapping, doing all this crazy shit with the lyrics of a song, mashing music, and I was fucking floored. And so, listen, for me, it worked out in my favor because I say this all the time. I go from gay to hood with my music all the fucking time. So here I went to this show thinking that I was going to go and cry my heart out, and I went from feeling sad to now all of a sudden my gangster side is popping off. You know what I mean?
I love that. I love that. Yeah, and Post Malone's another good example. Ed Sheeran's incredible, incredibly diverse and just super talented. Post Malone, I mean, he did a cover of Bob Dylan early on in his career, and it's incredible, absolutely incredible. And actually, Post Malone's a great example. He's doing country songs now, which is crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Do you feel like that's something that you maybe have felt insecure about in the past, about how diverse your music taste is? Because you don't necessarily know if you're doing it justice by condensing it all into one, if that makes sense.
Yeah, honestly, the insecurity comes from the attempt of trying to package it into a singular brand, right? Like on Anywhere But Tonight, I think I could be at home in a cowboy hat and boots and all that, But in Devil in the Sunlight, I feel like I should be someone who is, like aggressively attacking a microphone. So like it's really hard. Yeah, the insecurity comes in the packaging. I have no insecurity. Well, I have some insecurity, but the insecurity doesn't come from the fact that I wrote a folk song or that I wrote a more hip hop oriented song. I'm just gonna keep writing, man. That's all I can do. And if I think about it too much, like if I go down there and I'm like, I'm going to write, like a follow-up to Devil in the Sunlight, it just garbage comes out, just trash, So I'm just gonna do it now. I'm gonna do what comes naturally. And That's apparently 15 different genres on one album.
Well, I think it's working for you because if I'm not mistaken, you said that a little bit ago on this recording. You said that you go into it without thinking of a genre. You just go and write, and then whatever genre comes out of it, it's what comes out of it. Am I mistaken, or did you say that earlier today?
That is 100% accurate. I don't go down there with a plan. I'll think of a line, or I'll be, messing around with the guitar, and I'll find an interesting chord progression or chord voicing, and I just build off of that. And wherever it goes is wherever it goes. And I'm more trying to figure out what the energy of the song needs to be and what the story of the song is and what feelings I'm trying to convey, not what genre is this. I don't know how to do that. If someone can just do that, that probably makes life a lot easier. I don't know how to do that.
Well, I think you're doing it great, and I love the variety in your music. I think that it's translated so well, and it's not confusing. And I want to make this clear on record real quick because I do think that there are some artists that try to do a lot of genre blending because it's just what's in at the moment, and there's a little bit of a disconnect. It doesn't necessarily make sense. That has never even crossed my mind when I listen to your music, for example. I never thought like, oh wow, that was a different genre than the other song. It never even crossed my mind. I just knew that it was hitting and it was hitting for whatever reason. So I think you're doing it well. Definitely don't change your method is what I'm basically saying, okay?
I love it. Thank you.
Dude, of course. I saw a video of you riding a bike. So in honor of this video, these are going to be some speed questions, bike edition. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Pick a song, any song that hits differently on a bike.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, you said this is the speed round, but you're working with a outdated brain here. I'm gonna go with anything from Empire of the Sun.
Hell yes. What about a Williams song?
One of my songs, I think, "Take Me Home" hits nice on a bike.
Take me home, where the sweet from your lips meets my soul, where the light from your eyes keeps me warm. Take me to someone I know. Take me home.
Beautiful. Best song, any song to slowly take the helmet off and make it sexy.
Yeah, I'm not very sexy. I'm gonna say "Lil Miss Can't Be Wrong" by the Spin Doctors, just to keep people confused.
Listen, I'm confused as fuck already, so it worked.
Perfect.
Best song, any song to let the hair blow in the wind.
Ashes, Celine Dion. That's more of a sad. That's more of a sad hair blowing in the wind. But
It's got some Deadpool vibes to it. See, it
yeah,
makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah.
I love it. What are the odds we will get a video of shirtless William riding the bike in 2026 as content?
I mean, I'll send that to you in 20 minutes after this podcast if you want it.
Amazing, dude. I actually wrote that question on there, inspired by the fact that on your links you had that OF links. And listen, a bitch was not going to not click it, okay? I was getting ready to interview you, so I had to get as much information about you as I could. Clicked on it. That literally set me fucking dying,
I
okay? And
love
I just
that.
want a disclaimer. That was also literally right after you and I got off the call and confirmed doing an episode together. So, yeah, you got me there.
I love that so much. But no, that's the point. Who's not gonna click it, right? So like that was the whole point. But I that's so it makes me so happy that you clicked it.
Hell yeah, dude. In regards to a caption that you wrote on one of your videos, you wrote, "Never underestimate the fragility of my mental state." Your captions, I'm telling you, dude, like, I think that if I were to give some unsolicited advice, which listen, for anyone listening, don't come at me with unsolicited advice. I'm not receptive to it from specifically from strangers, okay? But I'm going to not do that and still give my unsolicited advice. Your content, dude, 100% is in your humor because to me, when I read your captions, when I see how you write and tell stories or how you talk on a video and tell a story, I don't see much of a disconnect between like, oh, that personality doesn't make sense with the music he's making. There is no disconnect for me. For some reason, William, everything about you in regards to the way you write captions, how you tell a story, and the music you're putting out, it all makes fucking sense. So that's my unsolicited advice to you. Your content's right there, okay?
That's amazing. Thank you.
In regards to that quote, never underestimate the fragility of my mental state. If this was going to be a song that you were going to write about in 2026, what are some things that you would talk about in that song?
I'm like one stub toe away from like a full-blown homicide. That would be one of them. That would thematically, I think that would be a big part of it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else. I don't know what else. My point is that I can get derailed quite easily, and that's not an asset, but I can get derailed quite easily would be the theme of the song. So, and when I do get derailed, it's not going to be great for everyone around me.
Who, in your opinion, who can pull you out of that whenever you do start to derail?
You know what? Like instantly, this is going to sound stereotypical. Instantly seeing my son, I'm back on track. My wife, depending on the mood, she may derail me further or get me back on track. So it really depends. But yeah, I would just say family and friends.
I fucking love it so much. I hope, I don't know if you find it cringy to hear back your talking voice in other videos or anything like that, but if you play this back, there's a little bit of a connection in a lot of your answers. Like there's a little bit of a connection. I'm losing my thought process in this, but there's a little bit of a connection, some circle back moments, the way that you say certain things, and how, in my opinion, it's just truly what makes William so fucking unique because you sit here and you say things like, I don't really have an answer for that, right? But somehow you still give such a good answer. And I think that that's the beauty of this show is I want to be able to showcase someone and just who they are outside of the music that they're putting out. You know what I mean? Because here you are once again circling back before I lose my thought is that whole stub toe comment. There's the humor coming out of nowhere again in an answer. And we talked about that from the beginning of the episode, somewhere in the middle, here towards the end. And I just think that I get goosebumps because this is the shit I live for. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's amazing. And I like that you take my scatterbrain, which is largely incapable of forming full thoughts at any given time, and then you like boil it down to this eloquent response. I'm a big fan. I would take that in my day-to-day life if you're available.
Dude, well, listen, if I get that shirtless video, maybe I will be around a little bit longer. Okay. I'm just kidding.
Check your phone in 20 minutes.
Totally kidding. But something I wanted to ask you about real quick is in regards to 2026, what is it going to look like for you? You already talked about some demos you're going to be putting out. What about some live shows in 2026? What's all this looking for you?
Everything with the exception of production, without going crazy. I write these songs and I kind of put the arrangement together with instruments and everything else. I play all the instruments, I do the vocals, I kind of put it together. It goes to a producer for polishing and rewrites in certain instances. The end result of that is sometimes there's 15 instruments on the song or 15, live things happening at the same time. So live shows are difficult for me right now. Not that I won't do any in 2026. I think I'm going to make it a priority to do that, but it is difficult to get 15 people or even if it's 4 or 5 people to learn all the songs and play the songs for me live, let alone trying to do a meaningful tour and hit even this half of the country. So if I do live in 2026, my guess is it'll be more on the acoustic side or maybe just with a couple supporting artists.
That's something I don't think anyone that's really not in the business. I'm not a musician, so it's something that wouldn't have crossed my mind. You have to pay people to play these songs on stage with you. That's not just a drummer that's doing it for free. You've got to pay people for their time. And I don't think people take that into consideration. So something that I know me, I'll be mindful at the next show I go to that this is not just people pulling favors in for one another. Like these are people you have to pay for their time for. So there's a lot of back end shit that goes into a live show, basically is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it adds up quick. It adds up really quick when you start looking at costs. But I mean, that's the price of just being a solo artist. But the upside of being a solo artist is no one can tell me not to do something, which is lovely. So
absolutely.
yeah.
In regards to those demos that you mentioned earlier today, what's the time frame looking like for you to release your next song?
I think within the next couple months, I'll definitely release one of them. I probably have 4 in the hopper that I'm really excited about. I feel like it's a big step forward as an artist for me, both in writing, performance, and vocal technique, all of it. I feel like it's going to be a well-rounded release. So within the next couple months, I'll do one of them. I don't know which one yet.
Very exciting. And how do you feel about eventually condensing multiple tracks into either an EP or a full-length album? Where is William on the side of things with that?
I would like to do one or both. I don't think I'll do an album myself, just financially speaking. I'm the one footing the bill for 100% of this. The same deal. Album costs just add up insane, especially, you have pre-release marketing, you have all the production, you have post-release marketing, and then you have the live gigs that go along with it. So I think an attainable goal this year may be an EP, a standalone EP. I don't understand this side because people keep telling me just take some of your old songs and put it on an EP with, a couple new songs. And I don't totally understand that. It's not new music. And for me, while I'd love to play all those old songs live, I'm not releasing anything new. Like, again, it feels like I want a whole EP of like where I'm at with music today, because it is ever evolving.
Dude, I'm actually really happy to hear you say that, and I am grinning ear to ear because, and please, artists, anyone listening, don't take offense to this, but I straddle that fence too. Whenever an artist like, oh, I'm about to drop a new EP, but it's music from even a year to 2 years that they've already put out into one with just one new song. Sometimes it's such a huge disappointment for me, especially if it's something that I'm like, I'm so excited for that new song. I'm so excited for this new EP. And then it's just the same music. I don't understand the strategy behind that. And maybe someone out there with more experience than me will have a better explanation for it. But I can tell you genuinely, it's so refreshing to hear you say that because I stand on that side of the fence when it comes to that for sure.
Yeah, I just don't understand. I mean, like from a marketing perspective, maybe that new traffic to the EP is going to bring some light to the old songs or whatever. But again, it feels disingenuous. I'm not trying to throw shade at anybody that's done it, but for me, it feels disingenuous.
Totally makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's hilarious that you even said that because no one's ever really been able to articulate that for me. And I feel like I always just keep my mouth shut about something like that because I don't want to offend anyone that's putting out a new EP. I think it's amazing to put it out there, but it's funny because I don't want to rain on anyone's parade. But that's definitely where I stand with it too, for sure. When it comes to you talking about, a potential EP doing things in 2026, right? You also mentioned something about funding this for yourself. What is a way that someone listening that's discovering you for the first time that they want to support outside of streaming? What's a different way to support William financially to make this music happen?
Look, honestly, I'd say just streaming the music and restreaming it if you enjoy it and sharing it with friends, for me as an artist, is more than enough. I'm fortunate that I really devoted a large portion of my life to a career that now allows me to do this kind of at the level that I'm doing now. So for the time being, keep your money, keep listening. And then I'm sure at some point in the not so distant future, I'll come knocking on your door with like a GoFundMe or something.
Dude, exciting. Well, listen, if you do start knocking, I'll make sure to answer, okay?
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Of course, it's been such a pleasure getting to know you, and I'm sure we're definitely going to keep in touch. If I'm not stalking your life for the next few years, just know I more than likely am, okay? It's probably just doing it on the DL, okay? That sounds
Absolutely.
so bad, actually. That sounds really bad, actually. I shouldn't say that. But you get what I'm saying. I'm not going to be up your ass 24/7 is what I'm basically saying, okay?
Well, I appreciate it. And I appreciate you reaching out, man. This was fun.
Of course, we'll definitely be in touch, right?
All right. Thanks.
Peace out, dude. Hey, if you've made it this far, don't forget to follow the socials on the screen or in the description below. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. See you next week.